Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We've hit that point, the international break. It makes it a bit disastrous to make content on this channel. It makes it a bit tough, and we just really need to pick out the most pointless, stupid and meaningless videos we can. So we're starting that today. We've got a video. We're going to talk about what I think is Celtic's best starting 11 right now with the current squad we possess after the transfer window has shut. This will be subject to opinion. Keep that in mind. I'm sure everybody will have opinions as to what is our best starting 11, and it changes for different games and how you approach them and everything. We'll come on to that, but it's just a video to fill up the time. Before we go any further up with the video, please make sure to check out the top line of the description and download the OneFootball app. Using my link, OneFootball app will give you everything you need in terms of keeping up with Celtic this season, keeping up with our squad this season, their stats, their goals and everything else in between, all in the one place. Check your live scores, check your results, have a look at your cooking, whatever you need to do via OneFootball, and using my link in the description means you're helping out both me and the channel sponsor, helping us grow and all the rest of it. So thanks very much. Top line in the description for the OneFootball app. Right, so as I said, this video is very much opinion based. It's my opinion on what is Celtic's best starting 11. A lot of people will disagree with certain areas and think that other players should come in. And as I've already touched on, this does change depending on who you're playing. I'm looking at this as the kind of average game, the best starting 11 at Celtic, just in terms of quality in every position. You know, I'm not taking into consideration when you're playing Leverkusen in the Europa League and you've got to change up tactically, or you're playing the Derby and you've got to change up tactically. The way I'm looking at this is right now what I think is Celtic's best starting 11 if we were just to pick our best 11 players on an average basis. Now, there'll be areas that you do disagree with, as I said, but I think this is a pretty good starting 11. The transfer window went, somewhat according to plan. We did recruit heavily. We brought in 12 players. I still feel like we are very light. And you'll notice that as we go through this team. We'll go through certain positions and we'll say, well, what happens if he gets injured or he drops out and then we're back putting somebody else in? We have put ourselves in a bit of a predicament like that, but it wouldn't be Celtic if we didn't. So we'll take that aside for now. We'll talk about what I believe is the best starting 11 at Celtic as we head into our next league game, which I believe is it Ross County? Aye, Ross County next Saturday. So let's not waste any more time and go through position by position what I think is our best 11. In goals, it is Joe Hart. Now, trust me, I'd love to wheel in the joke that I usually do about Barkas being our first choice keeper, but Joe Hart has been brought in to be that first choice keeper, and he's pretty much took that opportunity, grabbed it and made it his own. There's already been a drastic improvement on the howlers that we've seen time and time again last season. Now, yes, Joe Hart has already had a couple of dodgy moments, but I think overall you're looking at saves being made that weren't made in times past, saves that are going to change games for you and win you points. That's the kind of goalkeeper Joe Hart is coming to be at Celtic. Now, I will be on that Barkas wagon till the very bitter end, and I'll make sure that one day he's back in between the sticks. But Joe Hart for me is right now the only option, isn't he? And I think it'd be daft to suggest otherwise. I can already tell that people in the comments are taking the Barkas sarcasm way too seriously. I'm having a laugh. The first position at right back, or outfield position I should say, Josip Juranovic, or Juranovic. I'm still changing between the two. It's like Simunovic again, isn't it? People said Simonovic and people said Simunovic, and things just changed all the time. I'm going with him at right back, and a lot of people will be thinking, what about big Tony Ralston? And I do feel like he's a little bit hard done by, but let's be honest, we signed this right back to come in and be our first team right back. We didn't spend the money for nothing. And Tony Ralston, look, he salvaged a Celtic career out of what looked to be something that was finished. It didn't look as though he had a future at the club, and he stepped up when we needed him most, and he gave us some of the best performances we've seen thus far in his career, and some of the best performances we've seen from a Celtic player over the past sort of 12 to 18 months. He really did sort of rejuvenate himself, and fair play to him. I don't think his Celtic career is anywhere near over. I think he's given himself that second win that he needs to carry on here, and we'll see how many chances he gets over the next 12 months before his contract runs up at the end of the season. I think he will extend. I think he will stay. He's fought for that right, and he's fought for a right to be considered as a right back. But listen, we can't let the good performances get over the fact that we did need a right back improvement. I think we needed actually two right backs, but Tony Ralston has stepped up a little bit and made it a bit easier, but Juranovic is here to be a right back. That is it, ultimately. There's no use in saying play him left back and play Ralston right back. They are the same naive mistakes that we've made for time and time again over the past couple of years by playing players out of position. We need to learn from that. We can't make the same mistakes, and Juranovic is a right back at the end of the day. It was actually really difficult to pick a centre-half partnership because we don't really know what one of the new signings is like. Jullien is still out injured, so I've took him out of this for the video. Starfelt has had a really kind of mixed start at Celtic. He's looked like Shane Duffy at points, but he's looked like Sergio Ramos at other points. And Stephen Welsh has been consistent, still with a couple of errors, but obviously a player who we were looking to improve on too. So I found this very difficult to pick two centre-halves to say is our best partnership. If I was to choose at the minute and I was the manager, and I think this is where most of the debate will come in the comments section, I'd be going for Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carl Starfelt. Those are the two guys I'd be going with. Now, this is subject to change. Let's not get over ourselves, and I'm not going to even get over myself and say, like, this is at the best. I think Stephen Welsh could easily make a case for being in there just now while Jullien is still injured. I mean, Julien's going to come back and he's going to slot right into this team. Ultimately, he is our best centre-half at the club, is from what we know of players. But right now, I'm going for Starfelt and Carter-Vickers. Starfelt, I think, has had a nervy start, but he's going to build on that, and we've seen glimpses of that. Carter-Vickers, a guy we're bringing in from Tottenham Hotspur. He's had a lot of experience in the English Championship for Sheffield United, Swansea, Ipswich, to name a few teams. He's played at Europa League games as well, I think. He's a guy that's coming in with a bit of pedigree, playing for a club like Spurs, and will have quality. Now, I know he's not made a Premier League appearance for them, but, he's there for a reason. He's obviously a good footballer. Starfelt, we paid £4.5 million for, so ultimately, I don't want to see that £4.5 million go to waste. Welsh, like Ralston, once again, is someone whose Celtic career isn't over, and I think we'll get plenty of chances this season. But for right now, I would say that that's what I feel is our best centre-half partnership, subject to change very soon, probably. Left back, Greg Taylor. That's all we've got in it. Why have we not signed another left back? Why? Why have we not done that? This is literally the only option I can go for here, really. A lot of people would make a case for Adam Montgomery. He's had a couple of impressive performances off the bench when needed for Celtic. And yeah, someone who I think can keep doing that. But right now, I think it would be daft to suggest that, the full season's ready for him to be in at left back. I like him. Big future once again. It's just Taylor though, isn't it? And that's annoying. It really is. We should be better prepared and better equipped in this area of the field, because it's an area we've struggled with, fullbacks, over the past year. And the fact we're going into this season probably less prepared than what we were last season. We've lost Laxalt, who wasn't great, granted, but I feel like we're less prepared now than what we were 12 months ago. It's quite annoying. The middle three, and this is the area that does sort of worry me a little bit, is went from being what was our strongest area to an area that now we're an injury or two away from disaster, I think. But right now I'm going to go with McGregor, Turnbull, Rogic. That's the middle three for me just now. Rogic is another guy who's revitalised himself and gave himself a place in this team that we didn't see coming. Turnbull and McGregor were obviously going to be in there this season. McGregor being the captain, Turnbull being the star man last season. It was a pretty easy three to pick in terms of a starting 11, but then you look beyond that. We've lost Cham, we've lost Scott Brown. James McCarthy is probably going to be in and out with fitness issues all season. Ismaila Soro is still very much a raw player who has a lot of development to go through. Beyond the starting three, you start to raise the eyebrows a little bit and start to go, wow, maybe we should have been better prepared here too. That middle three I'm very happy with. I'm very, very happy with. And if they can somehow stay fit as a free and play every game this season, then okay. You're talking, and you can get James McCarthy fit as well, you're talking, right, we're sorted. But, we've got COVID still cutting about. People are going to be in and out of isolation periods probably. Rogic is a guy who has fitness issues we know about. McGregor, we're so reliant on playing every single game. It's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Yeah, beyond those three, it does get a bit worrying. But as for a starting 11, it's pretty much a no-brainer for me is what is our best three. A lot of people might say, well, bring in McCarthy, take out Rogic, use Rogic as an impact player. I think from what we've seen so far this season, Rogic has been better starting the game than what he has been off the bench. And the front three, another player actually that we didn't mention that we've just lost as well is Ryan Christie, a player who I don't think we've replaced because we've signed Jota, but Jota's not a number 10 replacement. He's a left wing replacement. He's the El Yunusi replacement. I've said that time and time again. So yeah, another player in the middle of the park. But on to the front three. The front three for me is looking promising. I am excited to see these three play together. Of course, we've now lost Christie, who was playing a bit on the left and right wing. We've lost Edouard. He's no longer here. Griffiths is gone too. So another area we have took a significant hit in, but we've managed to sign some three very talented, very exciting players for the season ahead, and I'm excited to see the front three of Jota, Kyogo and Abada. That's my three. Now, a lot of people might be saying Forrest. You've got to get Forrest in. Put Forrest on the left or the right, and no, I think Forrest for me now isn't in our best starting 11. Because Jota comes in, he is a left winger. That's his position. His place is taken. The conversation for Forrest comes between him and Abada, and for me so far this season, Abada has been one of, if not the best player to watch at the club. He's getting goals, he's getting assists, he's given us a direct approach. He's changed everything, I think, about our wing play, and I love it. He's got to be starting for me. We've got to nourish this talent. Forrest, not saying get him out of the team and he's gone forever. No, he's obviously got a big part to play, being one of the most experienced players in the side. But for me right now, Abada looks the better player. And I want Abada in the starting 11, so that's why he's on my right-hand side of the front three. Kyogo up front, yes, we've signed big Giannis Giakoumakis, who's now number 7 too, so he's got a big role to play this season probably, but once again, will he come into the team over Kyogo? I don't think so. You have got that luxury now. If you want, you can play Kyogo off the left and you can play Giakoumakis up front, but why would you take off Kyogo at the moment? Why would you take him out the middle? Because that's where he's been playing his best, and he still played his best through the middle at Ibrox as well, despite us losing the game. So for me, the front three picks itself again: Abada, Kyogo, Jota, and that for me rounds off a pretty good starting 11. I'm excited to see Jota. Hopefully it's one that works out. Hopefully it's not one of these loan deals that we look back on and go, wow, what were we thinking? I'm hoping it really does work out. But that's the starting 11. A very, very different Celtic starting 11 from what we've been used to over the past few years. The rebuild is well and truly in motion. And there is a big unknown quantity to how this team will play, how this starting 11 will form and play some football. A lot of guys we've never seen before. A lot of guys we're still getting used to. It is going to be a bit of an adventure. It is going to be a risk, but that's what rebuilds are about. That's what football's about. Evolution, isn't it? We're not going to have the same group of 11 players forever. We've got to get used to change. We've got to be able to see this change and appreciate this change. And I like this 11. I really do. I think it's an 11 that can do damage this season. So hopefully we'll see what the result is come the end of the season. That does it from me. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, what you would change about my 11, what you think. It's all subject to opinion. We don't need to get rowdy about it. We'll just take our time. And it'll change all the time. These things do. But for now, that's the 11 I like. Anyway, like and subscribe. See you all next time.